In 2011, on the occasion of the establishment of Japanese Film University, you gave us your very first lecture. That time, when you were asked, "What according to you is the best international cinema?" you had answered, "Kumati, directed by Mr. Aravindan." Could we start with your reasons on why you felt it was such a great movie?
私はよく、あなたの障害の At any gathering, the most often asked question is, according to you, which movie can be termed as the best international movie? My answer almost always is an Indian movie called Kumati, made in Malayalam language. Malayalam is a South Indian language. This movie is a masterpiece, and I have not seen a more beautiful movie in my whole life. Everything in the movie, the concept, the emotions, the screenplay, and the music is very pure and beautiful. It is a movie made for children and it has been made on a very, very small budget. It is really wonderful. I had shown it to Imamura Shohei-san too. He too was really dumbstruck at the beauty of the movie and the way the characters have been sketched. Very, very well done. I saw this movie for the first time in 1981 when I went to India. The reason I went to India was to collect 10 practical, close to real life, very good South Indian movies that can be screened at the Asian Film Festival being organized by our Japanese Foreign Affairs organization called Japan Foundation. So, I went searching for 10 best movies that can be screened in this festival. When I saw this movie in South India, I thought, oh, this film festival is going to be a success. Apart from this movie, I collected many other really nice movies too. Also, I had a feeling that a Japanese viewer who has almost never seen an Asian movie would be really satisfied seeing these movies. I had confidence that they would really like and appreciate the movies.
この映画が一本あれば、他にもいい作品が揃ったんですけれども、それまでアジアの映画をほとんど見たことのない日本の観客が納得すると、こんなにいい映画があるのかと納得するに違いないと、もうそう確信しました。もう本当にそして、アラビンダンさんに会って、それから
And later, I met Aravindan san, or I can say I have seen almost all of his movies. Then, in 1991, in a city called Fukuoka, as per the mayor's request, we conducted the Asian Film Festival with all the movies that we had collected. And exactly in the same year, Aravindan san died, just after completing his project. When I heard the news, I was totally shocked. I contacted his family at once and I sent them this special article that has been developed in his honor. This is the special program that I had made that time to honor the expert director. In this article, I had mentioned, of course, the great movie Kumati, also Estapan, and others. I was very happy having been able to find really good movies. Other movies are Kanchana Sita, The Golden Sita, and then Chidambaram. Chidambaram. This movie is really a milestone in the history of cinema. I think that Aravindan San's movies must reach more people, and more people ought to know about this master director. The characters in this movie are very emotionally mature and sincere. At the same time, characters never get into a teaching mode, passing on messages to the viewers. Aravindan San's characters are sketched brilliantly. They are very innocent, down to earth, and affectionate. And these attributes have been expressed beautifully in the movie. There are very few movies like this. Such emotionally mature and pure characteristics are a rarity. It is so sincere and beautiful that we can
My name is Nasreen Munni Kabir, and I had the very good fortune to meeting Aravindan sometime in the early 80s in Bangalore, in fact. I must say that he was immediately impressive. He had such a huge personality, but such a quiet personality. And you knew that you were in the presence of someone very special. And I also believe his films were very special. They told such unusual stories and very humane stories, and they used a language which was purely cinema. I mean, Aravindan you could not say that his films could be.
Aravindan was a great practitioner of the cinema of contemplation. And we can think of the cinema of contemplation as the other end of the spectrum from the more usual cinema of action, movement, plot, detection. So his films were slow. He practiced long takes. His usual distance from any human figure was mid-length. He allowed many events of nature their full rhythm, such as the movement of leaves in trees, as in Kanchan Sita, or the movement of ripples of water, as in Thump. And these rhythms induced a certain self-awareness in the viewer. If one thinks, say, of the induction effected by the opening of Thump, that long approach to the village, the half-asleep people on the back of the truck, the slicing of shadows across them as the truck trundles over a bridge, one has a sense of the receptivity that Aravindan was able to accomplish through his cinema.
Like every true master of the art of cinema, Aravindan expressed his own way of thinking in his films. And Aravindan's way of thinking resonates profoundly with that of the American poet and philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson, who was himself inspired by ancient Sanskrit spiritual texts. He was able to read an English translation. In turn, Emerson was a profound influence on Tagore, as Emerson's disciple Thoreau was on Mahatma Gandhi. Aravindan understood that insofar as films express themselves by their successions of moods they capture, those moods cast over us, film too is like a string of colored beads. Every shot is a lens that paints the world in its own hue, as Emerson put it, shows only what lies in its focus, and thus cannot give us direct access to reality, to things as they are in themselves, to the divine in nature. In an Aravindan film, the beauty of the world in the frame is not simply a background to the character's actions. Equally or more important to Aravindan was that we sense the mysterious attunement of his characters, or, as may be the case, their destructive lack of attunement to the divinity of nature. Unni tells a simple story, and its characters on paper are sketched in very broad strokes. It isn't the way they're written that makes Aravindan's characters deep. They come through to the viewer so as vividly as they do because of the way Aravindan films them. The special interest he takes in conveying the particular spiritual depth he finds in each of the flesh and blood people whom he makes his camera subjects. We assumed that Aravindan would want to flesh out the Indian characters, especially Unni, the young man the protagonist Tara befriends, and with whom perhaps she falls in love. But as it turned out, he had no inclination to do that. And Aravindan was right about that, since it isn't Unni as he really is, but Unni as Tara envisions him, that Aravindan undertakes to capture with the camera. Tara herself, given far more screen time, remains almost as unknowable to us, almost as unknowable. I think he accepted our invitation because he embraced the challenge of making Unni an American story as we'd written it. At the same time, of course, he wanted it to be a true Aravindan film. He succeeded on both counts. He couldn't have made our American story his own, as he did, if he hadn't sensed in the 7 young Americans we brought to him to film, and especially in Tara Johansson, the film's protagonist, spiritual qualities with which he could make a deep connection from his own experience.
For Bill and me, I think Aravindan represented a type of filmmaking that appreciated the natural world, which is very important to me as an environmental filmmaker. I like the way he brought in the beauty of the natural world, the sacredness of the natural world, and the sacred images of things like the temples and the sounds, the sacred sounds. I know that has inspired me through my life, and I think that he really captured what Bill calls a transcendental quality, which I think of as the sacred, the holy sight, the wonders of the